offices and the site in Malaba. As you can see, previously we were in containers. Now we have managed to do a very nice office with a nice shed for the agents, drivers to sit. And I think it's a great improvement, and we are also committed to improve all the time and have better facilities and better services. Thank you very much.
Moving on so well, and at this moment I will invite Mr. Waiswa James to give us his presentation with regard to legal metrology, what they do in terms of calibration of the pumps and do with the impel, where the people claim they give an impel. Is the right man to give you that information. Thank you, Waiswa.
Thank you, Peter. Again, my name is James Waiswa. I'm a legal metrologist at Uganda National Bureau of Standards. Before I move to what I will be doing here in the next 15 minutes, I request permission to allow me to make a clarification from the presentation made by my senior colleague, Dean, without distorting his definition of the word standard. What I said, it's a document describing the specifications of a given commodity. If the paraphrase works, I agree. However, in metrology, we also use the word standard to mean a physical reference quantity or even a phenomena. For example, if we may have a standard weight of 1 kilogram, so I'm using the same word to define the same word. If I have a standard quantity of 1 kilogram, it's referred to as a standard. Or if I can simulate the current definition of a kilo, the current definition of a meter, or allow it to go through virtually with some specifications, that phenomena can also be understood to be a standard. Therefore, where I speak, kindly be guided by the context wherever I say standard, because I could mean either. Moving on, we shall be learning together the significance of legal metrology in the petrochemical sector. However, in introducing this subject, I wish to pose a question that if one took a position against the government, what happens? I will not ask for hands because the answers may vary depending on the circumstances. But you may be deprived of your freedom. Or if you mean yourself become the establishment, the field of metrology is, in our opinion, the most important but often ignored. And therefore, in introducing this subject, it would be good for us to learn from the causes. If you may look at the screen, observe the distances from the Earth, from the Sun to the planets, but also the average temperatures at each of those planets as given by NASA. The one following is about 464 positive, but when you look, visible from the sun, it's hotter than Mercury, which is closest, and we shall get to that. 11. Now, let's define meteorology together. Meteorology comes from two Latin words. One is metro, meaning another is loge, meaning stable. You may reflect back to your biology class in senior one. You remember what the teacher said. And therefore, we understand metrology as the science of measurement involving practical measurement, systematic approaches, and scientific metrology, also known as fundamental metrology. This one deals with the fundamentals of measurement, where basic fundamental units are derived, but also scaled to get other units. And those basic units are often called the fundamental MLT, mass, length, and time. The core of this part is to develop applied metrology. Here, metrology is practiced in manufacturing and production. The third is legal metrology, where our major focus will be. This is metrology subjected to legal control. That if I must come to a shop and buy sugar, because each one of us has interests, there must be a regulator to make sure that that mizan, that scale, neither cheats the seller nor cheats the customer, but offers that fair judgment in terms of measurements. 11. And to achieve what we have just learned, we need to have established limits, and without limits of the gun. To the suppliers, make the specifications of the size. To the receiver, they didn't. You may have seen how important we need to have a traceable system such that our measurements are harmonized around the globe. Another very important fact here is the application of those limits. To illustrate this, I will trigger your mind to 1999 when the US NASA spacecraft got lost in space. And the investigations concluded that one department did calculations in SI units. Another department did calculations in imperial units, and they did not harmonize. They set off, and eventually the spacecraft got lost in space, veered off course, never to be found, all money, investment, and research lost. It's that important. Now, these measurements, after learning from the cosmos, are a command, at least the two holy books I know in the Bible, and also by the 17th chapter of the Holy Quran. Now, therefore, try to ponder with you when you are thinking about measurements, what's your plan for the next 100 years? Now that we have learned that we have life because of measurements, we have learned that God commands the same. What is your plan for the next 100 years? And in this, I mean myself as well. And for us, who are now, if I may say, called to serve in this respect, we take a bigger blame. Because we assume to know. so we may have no answer. At any level, commissioner, manager, but provided we are in the line of that service, the calling is profound. And so, in Uganda, the legal framework is informed by the Rules and Measures Act Cap 284 and the UNBS Act Cap 210, and these constitutes the metrology and quality infrastructure of the country. Therefore, UNBS runs an SQMT standards, quality assurance testing and materials system in order to serve our country. And under that is where we have the legal metrology department enforcing several regulations under those acts. Now, legal metrology in Uganda does largely the following: the establishment of the legal requirements in the different sectors, control or conformity assessment, supervision and traceability as we learned. The second column is just about the specifics of what we do, and the third column is giving us the end goals, the objectives. But when we do that, we have credible measurement results, we create fairness in trade and taxation, and we protect the rights of the consumers and our environment, also learning from what the Commissioner previously said. Now, specifically, if we may look at the petroleum subsector, the road tankers are calibrated and verified at the UNBS facility where we are seeing road tankers calibration. And if I may refer to the SICPA, he said we first quantify the product on a given compartment or truck before they determine how much quantity of marker to be added. Should we get that quantity wrong, all that he's going to do up to the field is wrong. You may be getting the sense why I said it's the most important. Get it wrong, get everything wrong. Get it right, blessed. Also, measurements associated with the storage tanks is handled. From the storage tanks, the fuel is loaded using depot meters. Calibration and verification is also done. The distribution trucks who distribute from the depots to the various retail stations are also calibrated and verified to ensure accuracy in measurements. In other stations, you have the tanks and the pumps, the fuel dispensers. We have an image of one fuel dispenser there, but I request my colleague to move on for me to elaborate more. When you look on your left, we have the inner part of this dispenser. It mainly comprises of three parts. The pumping unit, which is responsible for raising the product from the tank up to the meter. It has the air elimination part, which is responsible for removing the air, just in case there was some, before the product gets into the next part, which is the measuring unit. From the measuring unit, the product exits through the discharge nozzle. Now, that measuring unit is the most important thing. It's where adjustments can be made, and that's why you see it has a security mark, a seal. After our officers have tested, checked, and sure that this pump is delivering the right quantities, that security seal is affixed, and if it's found broken, it's an offense. However, because that security mark is closed inside, the Bureau of Standards goes ahead and affixes a mark of conformity, the stamp on right. That is to say that this pump, this dispenser, this meter has been tested and found fit for use for trade. And that is done every 6 months all over the country. Move forward. That was a video of one of our colleagues in the field, but I think it will take our time. Now, we are expanding the scope to the upstream, but also to what is now called CCUS, carbon capture, utilization, and storage, where the Bureau of Standards must prepare how to quantify that carbon. Now, getting back to the system, according to NASA, Venus, which is the second planet, is hotter than Mercury, which is the first planet.